So, General Bakshi, it's been a real pleasure to interact with you today. And, sir, we have discussed so many things. The canvas was so big, it is very difficult to actually compress it in this time frame. But I just wanted to understand, is there any aspect of your service that we have not touched upon or I have forgotten about it? Can you enlighten us?
Arun, yes, I'm glad you've given me this opportunity. This is a very important event that happened in my career. After 12 years of service, in June 68, I was transferred from the Command Regiment to Jack Rifles. Now, let me also share with you that the infantry officers of the army have a fixation and a kind of an emotional attachment to the unit they are posted to from the academy. And and the regiment then means everything to them. And normally they are very unhappy and even resist if anyone tries to make a change. They get wedded to their unit and their regiment. And you can imagine that since I passed out 11th in order of merit and having got this as my own choice, my linkage was of the same kind, even more I would say, strong. Yet, in June 68, my transfer to Jack Rifles came. Efforts were made. General Raina was Chief of Staff. He called me to Udhampur, made efforts, but now the one who had ordered was much stronger, and I got the story because the MS spoke to General Raina and told him so. It so happened that Jack Rifles was not part of the Indian Army till I was in the academy, and therefore no officer from the academy was posted to this regiment from the academy, and therefore any need that arose had to be met from the officers already in the regiment. And General Katoj, being the vice chief, had a very good procedure. Whenever an officer was needed to go to be 2IC, second in command, he would ask the doziers, about 15 officers of that seniority, go through and then pick the one he wanted to be transferred. And then nobody could say no. Same thing happened with me. There was a need, and he ticked my name, whatever. Was not a staff college yet. I was an ordinary officer, but whatever it was, what he saw in me through the dossier, I cannot say. But nevertheless, this happened. Now when this happened, and I found that I cannot change it, and there was difference of uniform. I was not to wear the plume that the commandees wear. The buttons are black in Jackrif. It is a rifle. So my wife sat and slit all the buttons. So a bit of emotional, if I can say, linkage. But anyway, I went to Kargil to join the battalion. And good luck was that the CO there and I had served together about 6 years back in brigade headquarters in Uri sector. He was in Douglas and came to Jackrif from Douglas, and I was in command. And we got on mightily, and he was very fond of me. He also wrote a letter to me, "Don't get your posting cancelled. I'm waiting for you." Now that was good that my new boss is wanting me. Anyway, I went. When I went, I also said to myself, you tried, you have to go. How do you go? Go happily, go pleasantly. The troops you are going to serve are as good as your previous one, maybe even better.
Yes.
Officers are as good as you are served with, they are no different. So I said to myself, no more doubts and no more complaining. I must serve with my total heart and commitment and dedication in the new home I am going to. Right.
Wonderful.
With that, because I am saying this, people don't take it this way.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if you don't get your battalion to command, there is a people are in mourning. That happens. And regiment to change तो बड़ा मुश्किल है to tolerate. But I made myself totally dedicated and committed from day one. I say this with great pride. And let me tell you, the battalion I went to, the young officers took on to me in a big way because the CO was a bit of a hard taskmaster. He used to say, a tiger is a tiger. He growled. So they were in trouble because he would say no to many things, no leave. And then they came to me and he was going on leave. I told them, if you talk now and he tells me nobody will go on leave when I am away on duty, then I won't be able to send you. Just keep quiet. And when he left, he went to Jammu to stay. We were in Sundarbani at that time. For Kargil we had moved. And then I sent about 4, 5, 6. He got the word. 5, 6 चले गए हैं छुट्टी. And he said, rang me up. He said, तूने पूरी पटरी को छुट्टी भेजी है. Anyway, I became pretty popular with the battalion within a short time. And then, if I may just say, when he came back, I commanded the battalion for those 2 months, and then I was to go for staff college.
Yes.
So when I was going for staff college, he on my farewell, he says, this officer has done more work in just 4 months than people have done in 3 years. Now that's a huge compliment.
Yeah, that's
right?
a wonderful compliment.
Because I made orders and all that, a new battalion, new raising. So I definitely felt happy. But let me state to you, this is an example I am giving for the reason advising people, when things happen due to accidents of service, don't crib, don't oppose. If you can't change it, take it in the stride and move on. Right? And the next thing is that I will say in fairness, this regiment gave me a lot of love, lot of respect, lot of regard, and tremendous honor. How? I did 3 appointments which are actually choices. The Colonel Regiment from Staff College, when I had just done about 3 months in the regiment, picked me to be his MA.
Yeah.
I came to Army headquarters. Now that's a big thing. To serve the Colonel Regiment was Vice Chief as MA. There were 2 other colleagues of Jackrif with much longer service in Jackrif, but he asked me to be posted, so I was posted. Second, I had the great privilege of commanding the regimental center. Regimental center is a regimental home where you look after everybody, the retired, widows, people. You also look after the regimental traditions to give that shape to the center. I commanded the center for almost 3 years, which is a long tenure.
Yeah.
And during that, I also organized the first reunion in the new location, Jabalpur, for it. This was, and of course, that in that reunion, a lot of people came and they got to know me, and I got to know them. And the third big thing that happened was that they eventually elected me as colonel of the regiment. This is the biggest honor any regiment can do to any officer. And they valued whatever I related to them with all the affection that I could muster. And I am very proud that I have a position with them of the kind as a head of family should have. And I am very, very grateful to them for what they have given. One more aspect. Very important one. I did not break my links with Kumaon Regiment. I continued, they kept inviting me, they looked after me. Even as a major, as a lieutenant colonel, in fact, there's an incident when as an MA2 Vice Chief, they had a big function at Ranikhet where General Narona, who had done about 5-6 months with the Kumaon Regiment, was invited. And General Katoch was visiting NDA, I accompanied him. And the Deputy Commandant, Colonel Shukla, was the Deputy Commandant of there, and he was from Kumaon Regiment. So when he said, who's the Deputy? He said, sir, Colonel Shukla. Where is he? Sir, he's gone to Ranikhet. There is this event taking place. So he looked at me. He said, didn't they call you? I said, sir, they called me, but I didn't go. Oh my God. I wish you had told me. He told me. I wish you had told me, I would have sent you with Reggie Narona Now that is the feeling. So I kept the relationship, and I never hid it. And regiment, I told them that is my parental home. And the analogy I normally quoted was, I said, if a girl gets married into a family where she didn't want to get married, the good of the family and her own good lies in she doing the best she can for the family she has gone to. And they don't ever ask, a good family never ask, break your links with your parents. Right or not right?
Absolutely.
So as a consequence, I think I set that example, and there is no doubt that my transfer and my adjustment and my this thing is one of the shining examples, if you can find any, of this kind of thing happening.
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful. In fact, I think, I also have some illustrious Postmates who belong to both the Jackref as well as Kumaon, and they would be very happy. In fact, whenever your birthday is coming, I get the inputs first from the Jackref net, and that is courtesy Brigadier Kuldeep Kalsi, who's from the 80th course of Foxtrot Squadron. He always remembers you. And Brigadier Navdeep Dhaiya, who is in the Kumaon regiment, he's from Alpha Squadron, but again 80th course, like accomplished footballer. And I've been to the center, and I've seen the Kumaon regimental center also. And there is one Brigadier Samir Kartike. He's again from Jackref, and it's actually a pleasure to see these troops of Kumaon, Jackref. I mean, being a naval officer, but I've had great interactions with the army, and I've spent a lot of time, all across the high altitude sectors. Whenever I go to Ladakh, which I do very often, I generally try to, visit the army locations and visit the units and spend time with them. These people from hills, Kumaon and Jackref, it's a great honor to actually, have lived your life amidst them, very humble and simple looking people, and, from your times and
Right. till now. I also, before I shift to the next subject, I would also like to say that Kumaon Regiment, I am very grateful to them. Even though I shifted as a major, they never forgot. They never missed me ever. They have extended, my colleagues and the seniors continue to extend to me the love and affection that is due to someone who has gone out like this together. And mind you, I did it openly, and the regiment knew my thing. But there were two places. I told the Jackref that I belong to you. If there is ever a conflict, I will be with you. that was the priority, no doubt. But the Kumaonis also, credit to them and grateful to them that they have not forgotten me till today and continue to care for me.
Well, I think this is a great example of ambassadorial activity. When you go from one unit to the other, and where the culture, the traditions can be absolutely different, you are actually an ambassador of your previous unit into the new unit, and new raising. So
Right.
you're bringing in new kind of thinking and new kind of culture, and meshing with the old one. I think it's a fantastic example of Indian Army's that deep fabric which runs inside the establishment. It's amazing, actually. There's so many lessons to be drawn. And then, sir, you went on to, motivate a lot of people as you went along, both within the army and then, of course, after the army. I remember meeting a couple of people who still speak about your lectures, which you gave on some good subjects of life.
Yeah.
Let's hear from you about them.
Right. But before I talk about lectures, Arun, if I have your permission,
Yes.
I'll just talk about my linkage with the three services.
Yes, please do that.
But the reason being, a National Defense Academy is a unique institution in the world. Nobody has an institution, training institution like this. Right from the age of 16, 17, you are all together getting to know as people get to know each other in a family, right? And those bonds go with you and remain with you throughout your service. And so I am very fortunate, or we are very fortunate, those of us who were in NDA, number one. Now the linkage that continue to further strengthen with the three services was my posting to NDA, where I did almost 3 years tenure, 2 years as Dev Officer, and almost a year as G3 training. And as I mentioned, I think somewhere that G3 training, my G2 was then Lieutenant Commander J.G. Nadkarni.
Yes.
Later. Then third, after that, I met a number of people and number of cadets passed out. They are all in services and I may not recognize them, but they recognized me all through. And linkage was like this. And then I had two postings in Staff College. But besides being a student for 1 year, where all the three services were there, I was instructor as Lieutenant Colonel, full tenure of 2 years, and then SI as a brigadier. So again, this three tenures, student, Lieutenant Colonel, brigadier, brought me in contact with many people. Here again, the CI Navy was then Commodore J.G. Nadkarni. And when the question arose that we have to write a new inter-service SD and all the books have to be revised and reprinted, so he told, and they made him the chairman. They said, all right, give me Colonel Bakshi, I was Lieutenant Colonel that time, I will do the task. So I was again with him. So anyway, my rationale is these are the linkages.
Yes.
And then when he became chief, he spent 4 days with me in Arunachal Pradesh, as commanding the division. Now that is the linkage. Then after the, if I may say, fortunate again to be DG NCC. Again 3 services,
Yes.
staff. I've been very fortunate.
Many.
I've had linkages, all the 3 services. And I mentioned about that cruise that I got from then Commander Vec Barbosa.
Yes.
When I went there, my coursemate was on board.
Okay.
And a Fox Squadron officer, 1 year senior to me, was on board. So imagine, these are the linkages. Fox Squadron, senior, and my own coursemate. Ranveer and then Lieutenant Commander Kochar.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, my rationale is these linkages, and not only that, when I was Div Commander, in NDA, my squadron commander was squadron leader at that time.
NPC?
Sen.
Sen.
Sen, Bogi Sen.
Bogi Sen.
And he became AOCNC. I needed a hapter, so I rang him up. I said, sir, can you? He said, yes, hapter will come. So I think whatever you say, things can happen in peace, things can happen in war. So great thing. That's the second part. I think we should value it and we should build upon it. And it is not only, and we should continue to have that spirit of togetherness.
Excellent, sir. And I would definitely like you to touch upon the lectures which you have given.
Yeah. I mean, interestingly, professional lectures are given, missiles, rockets, tactics, strategy. Some of the other, I started this when I was commanding my center, and we did a batch of about 20 youngsters who used to come. And they got attached for about a fortnight or so, and thereafter they went to their battalions. So they asked me to give a opening talk and a closing talk. I said, look, I am not running at any institution here. They have come here to get to know this regiment and become part. Many of them wouldn't have asked for this regiment at all. Wouldn't have even asked for infantry. Something else they asked for, but they've been posted here. So I started the thing by having a chat with them, making them comfortable. I said, it doesn't matter where you passed out. It doesn't matter what you asked for. Now you are part of us. You belong to us. And now look forward. And I put them at ease. And in the closing, I gave an address. I said, now what lies ahead? So I spoke to them. When you go to battalions, how should you conduct yourself? How do you build yourself? When you go on courses, a lot of people think that you should sit on spring-loaded chairs and jump up to ask a question before anybody else does. No, that's not the requirement. So I should tell them, no. Question when you ask publicly, it can be a profound and good question. You can also reveal your ignorance in a big way. So don't be too in great hurry to jump and ask a question. So I gave them hints like these, which till today, they are lieutenant generals and they remember, sir, you were the one. And we have never forgotten what you told us. I mean, what joy. At this age and stage, I get that joy when they talk. And there was Commandant IMA now, Lieutenant General Mishra, my Colonel Regiment, Northern Army Commander Dwivedi, Lieutenant Dwivedi. They were the ones who passed through these hands, and they talk, sir, we cannot forget you. What more at this stage of life can one seek and ask?
Oh, no, this is wonderful.
And if I may say, this I did while I was in service. But it was so good and so encouraging to hear them. I continued doing it for 20 years after retirement, and with no other thing. I didn't want anything. In fact, they wherever I went, they would add 250 rupees, which was the authorized thing to the military establishment, as a honorarium to be paid to the lecturer. I said, please take this 250 out. I don't need it. But anyway, whatever. And I was called to higher command course to give lectures on leadership, which I enjoyed very much. Many years I did that. And mostly my subject of talk to people used to be how to make your and your family's life happy and contented as you are where you are. I said, I cannot change your posting. I cannot change your career graph if you have not picked up promotion, but there is a way. And that is what I used to do. And also talk about education of children, and even include talking about retirement, how to plan it and all that. So these lectures were liked very much. They were not profound, this thing. And my own theme is that to talk about tactics, strategy and weapons is more a task of people who are now serving, senior people. So my task is goodwill and wellness.
Very nice, sir. I think these are the perfect pearls of wisdom, which every one of us, must imbibe, because when we were in uniform, we were tasked to do certain things, and we did. And now that we are veterans, we have a way of life which we are supposed to be following, and we live that. And I think perfect lesson coming from General Guru Bakshi, that sort out what is there in your control today. And I think that would be the right thing, to have a easy, a happy, and a long, peaceful life, the way General Bakshi has seen it all, from a pre-independence time to an independent India, to joining the Joint Services Wing with the 9th course, talking to an 80th, 81st course person, separated by 71 years, 71 courses, that makes it about 35 plus years. It's phenomenal. Thank you so much, sir, for recording this episode with us. And I think this episode will be the part 3 of our ongoing conversation. And I'm hopeful that a lot of JACRIF and a lot of Kumaon officers would be watching it and rekindling their memories about the association which General Bakshi has had with these two great regiments of the Indian Army. Thanks a lot,
Thank
sir.
you, Arun. Thank you very much.
What a
Thank
wonderful
you.
pleasure. Now we're just doing a test run. I want to see कि पिछली बार क्या हुआ कि it did a mirror.
अच्छा,
तो क्या हुआ कि मेरा जो NDA का लोगो यहाँ पे था ना,
वो इधर आ रहा,
वो यहाँ आ गया और मैं उधर शिफ्ट हो गया आपके उसमें. I will just see कि